Hey everybody, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Well folks, after blogging the 2 Minions spin-offs and catching up with the Despicable Me franchise from 2010 to 2017, today we're gonna look at the newest and 4th movie in this animated villainous franchise. But question is this new sequel any good compared to the previous films? Well, let's find out. Released on July 3rd, 2024, the movie is Despicable Me 4. And now, on for the plot of the movie. In this film, Gru welcomes a brand new member to the family, Gru Jr., a baby who's intent on tormenting his dad. However, their peaceful existence soon comes crashing down when criminal mastermind Maxime Le Mal escapes from prison and vows revenge against Gru, forcing him and his family to be relocated to a safe house in Mayflower until Le Mal is captured. So, what are my thoughts on this movie? Well, to me, I had a lot of fun with this movie, and it's got to be one of the funniest animated films of the year. And to further explain why I like this movie, let's head over to Mustang Notes. Now, development of Despicable Me 4 began in September 2017, with longtime Despicable Me and Illumination writers Cinco Paul and Ken Dario writing early drafts of the script. The film was officially confirmed in February 2022 with veteran Despicable Me director Chris Renaud, Patrick Delage, and Mike White attached as director, co-director, and writer respectively, and a July 3rd, 2024 release date was announced. Production was underway by June 2022, while most of the production was done during the COVID-19 pandemic. According to film director Chris Renaud, some of the characters who appeared in previous films had their character rigs and surfaces updated for the sequel. For example, Fred McDade, who had not appeared since the second movie, was recreated from scratch as his character model was too old. Plus, the sequence where Poppy plays with an arcade machine originally started out as an animation test for the character, but the filmmakers loved the sequence so much that it was added to the final cut of the film. Now, before we move on, I just want to mention that I got to see this movie 3 times in theaters. The first time was for my friend/neighbor Scott Addison's birthday. The second time was with a couple close friends, and the third time being with some people from Vocational Visions. Anyway, what are my thoughts on the animation? Well, I think the CGI animation is still excellent. Not only are some of the characters updated, but I also like some of the film's settings. For example, instead of a submarine or a giant blimp, the Anti-Villain League's base is now a heavily secured office building, which is pretty breathtaking, and I think the town of Mayflower seems like a very peaceful town. And I think the AVL safe house where Gru and his family are being relocated to seems like a decent place to live. And I like that it has a vending machine and a pool there, but it also has a lockdown mechanism for emergencies. Another thing that I like in this film is the villain high school Lycée Pabon, which is where Gru attended a long time ago. And in my eyes, not only does this school give Gru a bit of character development, but it kind of feels reminiscent to the School for Good and Evil and Hogwarts from the Harry Potter films. As for the story, well, I kind of like that it has a relocation plot, since I don't think I've seen too many films that did that before, other than Our Lips Are Sealed and Pixar's The Incredibles. And there are a few moments that feel reminiscent to past Despicable Me films. Also to note, one of my favorite scenes is during the end of the movie when Gru and Maxime Le Mal sing Everybody Wants to Rule the World, which features the past Despicable Me adversaries like Vector, El Macho, Balthazar Brat, Scarlet Overkill, and the Vicious Six, which to me is equally as awesome as the villains' comebacks in Spider-Man No Way Home and Kung Fu Panda 4. And that's all I got for Mustang notes, so let's move on to the characters and their voice actors. Our main character, Felonious Gru, is once again voiced by comedian Steve Carell, whom I remember from The Office, Saturday Night Live, Bruce Almighty, The 40-Year-Old Virgin, Date Night, Blue Skies Horton Hears a Who, the 2008 Get Smart movie, DreamWorks Over the Hedge, and the recent If movie. During this film, not long after capturing his old schoolmate Maxime Le Mal, Gru and his family are temporarily relocated to a safe house in Mayflower. While in hiding, Gru poses as a solar panel salesman named Chet Cunningham. In my opinion, Gru is still a crafty man, and he is a loving family man. However, the one flaw with him is that he can't hide his typically grumpy attitude. Next we come to Gru's minions, all voiced by Pierre Coffin. To me, these silly little dudes are still the funniest characters in this whole animated franchise. And during this movie, only Ron, Phil, and Ralph stick around to help Gru and his family, while the others are working with the AVL. Also, 5 of them, Dave, Gus, Tim, Mel, and Jerry, volunteered to become the Mega Minions. And to me, these superpowered minions are kind of reminiscent to several superheroes that almost everybody knows from the comic books, whether being from Marvel or DC. For example, Dave's size has increased and he has gained tremendous strength. Gus has a cone-shaped head that makes him resemble a bullet or a rocket, and he has the power of flight. Tim has become tall and has gained the power to stretch his body to great lengths and to interact with stuff that would normally be out of his reach. Mel has a laser coming from his goggles, which is powerful enough to burn a hole through the earth and to cut a satellite in half. And Jerry's body has become a rock-like structure. He can chomp through tough materials like bricks and metal, and he can roll like a ball in order to ram through stuff. Next is Gru's wife, Lucy, voiced by Kristen Wiig, who voiced Miss Hattie in the first Despicable Me movie. She got to be in the How to Train Your Dragon movies, A Boy Called Christmas, Sausage Party, the 2016 Ghostbusters reboot, and Wonder Woman 1984. In my opinion, Lucy is still a happy, enthusiastic, goofy, cheerful, and perky woman, and I think she's very supportive to her husband and to her children. While in hiding, Lucy poses as a hairstylist named Blanche. Unfortunately, while helping her first client, Melora, she accidentally mixes chemicals that causes Melora's hair to burn off, and she causes a fire to the salon. Also to note, the scene where Lucy is grocery shopping with Edith and Agnes while escaping from an angry Melora almost reminds me of a scene from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic where Twilight is shopping with Flurry Heart and Spike. Next we have Gru and Lucy's daughters, Margot, Edith, and Agnes, voiced by Miranda Cosgrove, Dana Geyer, and Madison Poland. During this movie, Margot poses as Bree and is sent to a new junior high school. Sadly, She misses her old friends from home, and her new classmates have put a glitter bomb in her locker. And I thought it was very brave of her to alert her parents by texting them when someone came to their safe house looking for Gru. Edith poses as Blair, and she and Agnes are attending karate class together. By the way, I found it very hardcore when she stomps on and breaks her instructor's toe while standing up for Agnes. As for Agnes, well, she poses as Brittany, which she's not very comfortable with saying due to her refusing to lie, and she's very sad to leave her pet goat Lucky behind. Next up is the newest member of Gru's family, Villainous Gru Jr., voiced surprisingly by my all-time favorite voice actress Tara Strong, who voiced Sweet Pea in the Secret Life of Pets movies, along with voicing Raven from Teen Titans, Dill from Rugrats, Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls, Princess Melody in The Little Mermaid 2: Return to the Sea, and Princess Twilight Sparkle from My Little Pony. Also, I got to meet Tara Strong for a 2-minute video chat via GalaxyCon back in summer 2022. Now, this little tyke appears to be a nice baby, but only when he's with his mother, Lucy. But with his father, he seems to be angry. But thankfully, Junior does warm up to Gru as the film progresses. To me, Junior is pretty mischievous due to him pranking and torturing Gru at times. Plus, there are times where he seems pretty smart for an infant, kind of like Dill and Jack Jack. Also, the part where he fights Maxime Le Mal almost reminds me of Dennis in Hotel Transylvania 2. Next is AVL director Silas Ramsbottom, voiced again by Steve Coogan, whom was in 2004's Around the World in 80 Days, Miramax's Ella Enchanted, the first Percy Jackson movie, and the Night at the Museum trilogy. In this film, Mr. Ramsbottom is called out of retirement to track down Maxime Le Mal. He also helps keep Gru and his family safe by relocating them to their new home in Mayflower, and he transforms 5 of the minions into the Mega Minions. Another character to talk about is Gru's new neighbor, Poppy Prescott, voiced by Joey King, whom was not only in Horton Hears a Who with Steve Carell, but she was also in Ramona and Beezus, The Boxcar Children, Sam Raimi's Oz the Great and Powerful, and Independence Day Resurgence. Poppy is an ambitious, aspiring supervillain and a devoted admirer of Gru's infamous career. Determined to surpass his legacy, she initially comes across as cunning and ruthless, even threatening to reveal Gru's identity unless he aids her in stealing Lenny the honey badger from his old high school. Despite her initial facade, Poppy does have a soft side, like when she witnesses Gru Jr. taming Lenny, prompting a change in her demeanor. After successfully completing her heist with Gru, she transforms into a positive force, forging a friendship with Gru and his family. Plus, Poppy's loyalty shines through when she helps Gru rescue his son from the clutches of Maxime Le Mal, proving her dedication to those she cares about. Also, I need to mention that Poppy's lisp, or improper S's, kind of reminds me of Winthrop Peru from The Music Man. And am I the only one who thinks this shot of Poppy on the swings kind of feels like something out of a horror movie? Finally, we come to the new villain, Maxime Le Mal, voiced by Will Ferrell, whom was in The Producers, DreamWorks Megamind, along with the Daddy's Home films Spirited, Kickin' and Screamin', Elf, and last year's Barbie movie. Ugh. Now, Maxime is an old high school rival of Gru who seeks revenge against him and his family after being arrested by the AVL at the beginning of the movie. In my personal opinion, on a scale from 6 to 1, out of all the Despicable Me villains, I would pick Vector at 6, Balthazar Brat at 5, Bell Bottom and the Vicious Six at 4, Maxime Le Mal at 3, Scarlet Overkill at 2, and El Macho at the very top. Plus, while Maxime can be pretty humorous, and I do like his French accent, which in my opinion sounds pretty similar to the late Jerry Orbach's Lumiere voice, I also find him to be pretty dangerous, mostly due to him being a cockroach hybrid, which makes me want to use this clip.
I dub thee King Roach.
Also, I think his sewer lair makes me think of the Penguin's lair from Tim Burton's Batman Returns and Napoleon LaRoche's lair from Spy Fox 2. His cockroach minions are like tiny rip-offs of Gru's minions, and his giant robotic cockroach seems more dangerous than Balthazar Brat's robot. Also to note, when he and Gru were classmates, Gru stole his song, Karma Chameleon, that he was going to perform at the 9th grade talent show, which has started Maxime's grudge with Gru. And I think his evil plan to kidnap baby Gru Jr. and turn him into a cockroach was really, really nasty. Other voices in the film include Sofia Vergara as Maxime's girlfriend Valentina, Stephen Colbert and Chloe Feynman as Poppy's parents, Perry and Patsy, director Chris Renaud as Principal Uberschlitt, Lorraine Newman as Melora, and Romesh Raghunathan as Dr. Nefario. And now on to my final words. Overall, Despicable Me 4 is a great sequel, but it doesn't top the second movie in my book. But on the other hand, it's still a step up from the first and third movies. The animation is slightly upgraded, the music by Hader Pereira and Pharrell Williams are excellent, the relocation plot is pretty rare, the subplot with the Mega Minions is hardcore, and there are a few moments that feel pretty nostalgic. Plus, the comedy in this movie is still hilarious. The Gru family are memorable and relatable, mostly due to Gru's relationship with his baby son, along with Lucy and the girls adjusting to life in a new town. Also, Poppy Prescott was a great new character, and Maxime Le Mal was a funny, threatening, and dangerous new villain. To me, this is a movie that I highly recommend for everybody to see, whether you're looking for something to take your kids to, or if you're Despicable Me fans in general. As for my rating, I'll give it a 94% out of 100. So, how'd it go, Joshua? Well, Sausage, I think it went pretty well. And what's next on your list, if you don't mind my asking? Well, it seems that I need to share my thoughts on the latest Pixar sequel.
But if you're gonna blog that movie, I think you should at least have a collaborator to help you due to your condition.
Well, I guess you're right, Doctor, and I think I know just who to ask. Sausage, can you contact Bonnie, please? You mean that Pennsylvania girl you'd blogged the Little Mermaid remake with last year? Sure, I'll give her a call.
In the meantime, you should take a little rest until Miss Bonnie responds.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Anyway, for those of you at home, be sure to join me for my next blog, Mustang Power.